Hello, my name is Daria Arzaeva. In this presentation, I would like to delve into the philosophy of hippies and explain main points of it. Firstly, let's establish what does hippie means. As Gardner's modern English usage claims, hippie is someone, especially in the late 1960s and 1970s, who was fervently anti-establishment as characterized by unusual clothes, non-traditional hairstyles, and drug taking. As a matter of fact, this originally youth movement began in the United States in 1960s and was notorious because of the common use of drugs, not merely for recreation, but also as a way to expand consciousness and challenge perception of reality. One of the most important inspirers of hippie movement was Timothy Leary. He definitely influenced hippie philosophy a lot. He was a psychologist who advocated for psychedelic drugs. His research and promotion of LSD as a tool for personal and spiritual awakening made him a central figure in the counterculture movement. Leary popularized the phrase turn on, tune in, drop out, which meant opening your mind, turn on, connecting with things that matter to you, tune in, and stepping away from society's rules to live more freely, drop out. Leary used this phrase to challenge mainstream culture, particularly its focus on consumerism, conformity, and war. And now, let's delve into the most important aspects of the hippie philosophy. Starting from the rejection of materialism. Hippies often criticize consumerism and material wealth as sources of problems in the society. They saw mass production and advertising as tools to trap people in a cycle of buying more and needing more, distracting them from life's deeper purpose. Instead, they embraced a minimalistic lifestyle, thrift and secondhand clothing, furniture, and, well, other items to reduce waste, highly valued relationships, and self expression over possessions. Hippies often opposed traditional authority, challenging government policies, organized religion, and corporate power. They rejected corporate careers, criticized traditional education, and resisted unjust and violent acts of government, using sit ins and peaceful protests. They sought to demolish systems they saw as oppressive, advocating instead for grassroots activism and direct actions. Inspired by figures like Mahatma Gandhi and movements like pacifism, hippies strongly opposed war and violence, especially during the Vietnam War era. They used sit-ins, marches, and demonstrations, as I've already mentioned, as a way of peaceful resistance. Their slogan, Make Love Not War, symbolized their advocacy for peaceful conflict resolution. The hippie movement valued freedom as both personal and interconnected. They thought that it is important to live simply in harmony with others and, of course, nature. Hippies challenged societal expectations around careers, gender roles, and conformity, embracing individuality and self expression, experimenting with alternative lifestyles, art, fashion, and, of course, music as forms of rebellion and creativity. And now let's take a closer look to the art, music, and fashion, as they were powerful tools for the spread of hippie ideals. And let's start with music, festivals, and movements. Events like Woodstock became cultural landmarks, showcasing music as a unifying force for peace and community. Spiritual connection. Music was seen as a tool for self-expression and spiritual transcendence, often blending traditional and experimental forms like, for example, acid rock. Protest and change. Lyrics and folk and rock music served as anthems for the counterculture, addressing themes like war resistance, love, and social equality. As for art, it was an expression of ideals. Art reflected the hippies' ideals of freedom, peace, and spirituality, often featuring vibrant colors, surreal imagery, and motifs from nature. Psychedelic art. It was inspired by mind expanding experience And psychedelic art used bold swirling patterns and vivid colors to represent altered states of consciousness. Public spaces and protest. Art extended into public murals, posters, and even album covers, spreading countercultural message of anti-war, civil rights, and environmental activism. Fashion was also important for hippie philosophy. Firstly, as a rejection of norms. Hippie fashion rejected mainstream trends, embracing secondhand, handmade, or ethnic-inspired clothing as symbols of anti-materialism. Self-expression. Flowy fabrics, tie-dye, pads, and fringe reflected individuality and carefree spirit. Symbol of unity. Fashion often incorporated symbols like peace signs or motifs inspired by global cultures, highlighting themes of universality and interconnectedness. On this slide, you can see the most important musicians for hippie movement. And I think that we need to begin with the most popular ones, the Beatles. Their psychedelic era defined the sound and spirit of the counterculture and influenced the hippie movement globally. Bob Dylan is poetic, protest-driven folk and rock music and songs has shaped the social and political voice of the movement. Jefferson Airplane. Their psychedelic songs truly played a crucial role in defining the culture and became anthems for hippie movement. Jimi Hendrix Experience truly reformed rock music with innovative guitar work and was really important for hippie movement because they represented it in the way they dressed and acted. The Grateful Dead embodied the hippie lifestyle with their improvisational music and initiated psychedelic jamming. Hippie philosophy rejected mainstream organized religion, as I already said, and favored more personal spiritual exploration. Often it involved a blend of spiritual traditions, including Eastern philosophies, such as Buddhism and Hinduism, Native American practices, and New Age beliefs. Practices like meditation, yoga, and the use of psychedelics were seen as tools for spiritual awakening and self-discovery. Hippies thought to build communities based on love, cooperation, and mutual support rather than competition and hierarchy. They embraced the sexual revolution and free love, emphasizing openness in relationships and rejection of traditional norms. Unfortunately, it was also seen by their contemporaries as a controversial aspect of their philosophy. Environmentalism. Harmony with nature was essential for hippie philosophy. They saw the earth as a sacred entity and believed that modern industry's exploitation of natural resources was threatening the planet. They promoted ecological awareness, sustainable living, alternative energy, and return to a simpler, more natural way of life. Many hippies were pioneers in raising organic food, communal living, and conservational efforts. In the conclusion, I would like to briefly summarize the main aspects of hippie philosophy. Hippie philosophy highlighted the rejection of materialism, critique of authority and conformity, pacifism, spirituality, and individual freedom, and at the same time encouraged free love, equal community, and environmental harmony. Psychedelics and art were used as tools for self-discovery and expression, challenging authority and promoting nonviolent resistance. What is more, hippie envisioned a utopian society rooted in equality, sustainability, and interconnectedness. On this slide, you can see all of the resources I have used for this presentation. And thank you very much for your attention.